I am ready. I am
All
ready.
right. Well, I'd like to welcome everyone to our inaugural training session online. I'd like to thank the E-Coastal Rotary Club for the accommodations and making this venue available for us. With that as a launch point, I'd like for Charles Gagne to talk to us a little bit about the venue and what you can expect as you participate in this.
Thanks, Mike. Well, let me just start off by saying thank you for everybody for having the courage to join us today and to give this a whirl. Things happen, and for example, I'm trying to get my presentation to work. Basically, we are going to, bear with me, again, this is an example of what I'm talking about. Here we go. Okay, I apologize for that awkward pause, but this is live and things may happen, so please don't worry about that. If they do, we'll correct them quickly. The main thing is you're here to receive just a tremendous amount of information. We are using a screen share technology, which means that the presenters will be sharing their computer screens with you. If you want to participate, we ask a couple of things. Please use this microphone on the left where it says mute. Click on that to mute it during the presentation so that we're not picking up any background noise in your location. Also, if you have a question, please use this chat feature, which you'll find the three dots on the right. If you'll just hover over that three dots, you'll see this menu and you'll be able to chat. There's also a chat icon at the bottom of your screen, and you'll be able to select, just send that chat message to the whole group, but please choose to send it to Mike Hayes. So Mike will be able to review those questions and he'll repeat them at an appropriate time during the meeting. And that's pretty much it. Mike, back to you.
All right. And thank you, Charles. So in typical Rotary fashion, we'll start with the pledge. And I would like to call on District Governor elect Harold Domain to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Standing is optional since we're on computer. But Harold, if you would.
Thank you, Mike. If everyone would place their hands on their heart and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Leading us in the invocation is past District Governor Mike Collins.
Please bow your heads in prayer. Heavenly Father, today we pray that we may receive your special blessing because we're committed to be a great service organization to help humankind. May each of us in our daily routine come to know the joy of caring and sharing with others, not as fortunate as we are. May our model that includes serving, caring, and sharing be for us life service as well as lip service. We ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. And leading us to the four-way test, and then immediately going into his opening address will be District Governor Gary Lacombe.
So repeat with me of the things that we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair? All concerned. Will it build goodwill, better
friendships?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned? So I wanted to say thanks for joining this first of what I hope to be many sessions like this. We're breaking some new ground. We're not looking for perfection here. We're just looking to make a difference. And so with that, I want to thank the people behind the scenes that have put all this together and the hard work and the volunteering work that you've done. And to the folks that are tuning in, anything that you see that we can make this better and more meaningful and helpful to the whole district, please don't hesitate to share that with me or Mike Hayes. With that, I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Hayes, and lead us through it.
All right. Thank you, sir. A copy of all the presentations, will be posted both to the district website and to DACDB. And some of the tools that are being referenced by some of the speakers will also be posted to the website and DACDB. So What we're trying to do today is introduce new ideas and basically create a thinking environment rather than getting into the details and a teaching environment. So starting us off will be past president, past assistant governor, and current membership chair, Pamela Trahan. Pam, the floor is yours.
All right. Let's see if I get this right. How's that? Can
Perfect.
everybody see my screen? There should be a PowerPoint presentation up. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Very good. Well, thank you guys, and bear with me as I clean up my screen a little bit here. Well, good evening, and thank you for taking time to be with us. Our objective is to get you thinking about new membership opportunities while learning fresh ways to help you achieve your membership. Things are changing. Why? In some parts of the world, Rotary continues to grow at a rapid rate. In others, membership has been declining and the average age of members is increasing. Rotary has found that when clubs have more freedom to determine how they hold their meetings, who they invite to membership, and what defines engagement, the club is more vibrant and ready and able to grow. The 5-year membership trend for District 6200, ranging from 2014 to 2018, netted a loss of 20 members. We must grow and maintain. Therefore, staying relevant is crucial. Strengthening memberships is crucial to the sustainability of clubs and Rotary as a whole. Clubs should promote memberships with new ideas, even those that challenge traditions. Club leaderships and members with valuable life experiences should provide mentoring and leadership development opportunities to Rotary's future leaders. Clubs should consider easing stringent membership protocols and make efforts to accommodate younger demographics. So, it's important to assess your club. Ask yourself, do you do things the old way or should you try something new? If you've decided that changes are needed, then you must be ready to think outside the box. Just by starting a membership conversation will be constructive to your overall success. How do we do that? By starting to take a good look at your club and honestly evaluate your club's fundamentals and your club's membership experience. Be innovative. By enhancing the membership experience for club members is difficult. Perhaps the most difficult thing to overcome are decades of misdirected priorities embedded in the minds of many Rotarians and previous leaders. Here you have some fundamentals to consider. There are more, but these are just a few. Again, this slide will be available for you guys to research. There is no substitute for club leaders paying attention. So complete a Rotary health check and conduct a member satisfaction survey. This way, you'll know what your members are thinking. To be successful, clubs must provide new and different ways of recruiting and engaging members so they continue to find value in their membership experience. Is your club searching for new, younger members? Younger individuals represent an enormous opportunity for membership growth because they are an aspiring group of natural networkers who have a strong sense of civic duty. Young leaders are looking to network. Many young professionals are looking for business, and that's okay. People do business with those they know, like, and trust. They're looking to build leadership skills. They're interested in working with current community leaders and being mentored. Few organizations span generations and professions the way that Rotary does. They are concerned about family because family is important, and there are no better place for young professionals to spend quality time with their families while teaching their children the valuable life lessons of service. Remember, new members are attracted to opportunities that are flexible, project-focused, family-friendly, diverse. Thoughts to ponder. Does your club offer valuable networking, leadership, mentoring, and fellowship opportunities? Does your club say, come, join us, be a leader? And does your club value families by saying, families, welcome? If the answer to any of these questions is not really, then hopefully after tonight's seminar, that will change. So, be sure to involve all members in club goals and membership issues. Ask the members' opinion. They will be eager to see what changes will be made based on their recommendations. Engage, motivate, and inspire your team. Are you aware of the new flexible guidelines granted by the 2016 Council on Legislation? They approved changes that give clubs greater flexibility in membership types. Has your club considered new membership types? If not, perhaps you should. Here are a few examples of different membership types. Corporate memberships for local businesses that want to support the club and would like to vary the representatives that will attend the club meeting. Family memberships for those families that want to alternate between which members of the family will attend a meeting on a given day. Associate members for those people that are interested in getting to know the club better. Uniquely enough, Rotary provides its corporate memberships with the opportunity to fulfill their interest in community service, improve their community profile and brand, as well as broadening the development of their leadership. They also granted greater flexibility in attendance and meeting format. Clubs can relax attendance policies. They can meet as few as twice a month. They can change their meeting time and day. They can meet in person, online, or a mixture of the two. And service projects or social events can count as a meeting. Try this. Start a Rotaract club. Dual membership for Rotaractors are now allowed. Start a satellite club. Be innovative. Find what works. However, it is important to remember that clubs that wish to continue to adhere to the traditional requirements regarding membership, attendance, structure, or categories of membership may do so. Remember, evolution is inevitable, but don't discredit what your club is doing well. Show off what you're proudest of so you can attract other members who will do more of it because the world needs more Rotarians. Now it's up to us. I ask you to renew your commitment to Rotary and make membership growth your #1 goal. Together we can continue to keep Rotary the world's leading organization. Membership matters, and I thank you for listening. Mike, thank you for allowing me the opportunity. Back to you.
All right, Pam. Thank you for such a interesting, informative, and brief presentation. Next up, we have Tim McNabb, past president, founder of the Homa Downtown Club.
Rotary Club of Downtown Homa, yes.
Rotary Club of Downtown Homa, and twice past district governor. RILA chairman for the past dozen years or so, whatever. Done a great job in all of those tasks. So, Tim, I turn it over to you to tell us how to have fun.
Thanks, Mike. First, we're going to go over a few things of why we can do some of the things. Pam briefly touched on the council getting together and making up some new rules for us, giving us some flexibilities. Just a second here, guys, and get my presentation going. There we go. Okay, so first thing is, 2016 council grants greater flexibility. what Rotary International did for the local clubs was they basically stripped back a lot of the rules and gave the flexibility of every club to make up their own personality as far as meeting places, how they meet, their attendance. And the reason they were doing this, guys, is main thing is Rotary shrinking. They realized that, so over the past 15 years, Rotary has carried out several pilot programs. And what they realized through these pilot programs, by giving the clubs these flexibilities with their members and how they hold their clubs, creates growth in those communities and those clubs. So Rotary clubs now have the ability to do so. Now, what I want a lot of you guys to know, before we can just go and have fun and change things and how our clubs work, all this ties into your club's bylaws. Without changing your club's bylaws, you cannot change these rules. Your bylaws are the rules for your club. So if you have not done so, please sit down, form a committee, get with your board, take a look at your bylaws. Make sure that you have in your bylaws the flexibilities. The standard bylaws that every club was built on have not changed just because International made changing to the rules. Your bylaws still staying in place. They still govern your club. So first things first, take a look at that, and let's get our paperwork in order and our club structures in order. So what is the official requirements for an active member in Rotary? Rotary has one rule now since 2016. The only mandatory qualification for membership are that Rotarians must be adults, and notice they don't put an age there. They say they must be adults. For those that don't know, Rotaractors can now be Rotary Club members also. They can hold dual roles. So if you have a Rotaract club in your area, those members can now come over to your Rotary Club and be actual members of your Rotary Club. They must have demonstrated good character, integrity, and leadership, have a good reputation in their business, profession, and community. Again, I'm going to stop right here. Nowhere does it say they have to have a job. They have to be in a profession. They can be any one of those three. They can have a business, they can be in a profession, or just be in good standing with the community. That means a stay-home mom whose kids are all off to college and wants to do something in the community can now be a Rotary Club member. You can make a classification for whatever. They gave us those abilities now. And they got to be willing to make a positive difference in the community and around the world. And that is it. Those are the only things that Rotary International says your new members have to be to qualify. Everything else is up to the club and the district. How much they pay, what kind of classification they have, that's all up to you. So please go back and look at your bylaws. Make sure you have it have it as easy as possible to get your members in here. We don't have any silly things left in there that are no longer required by Rotary. Again, that's up to each club. You can leave those. Some things I understand are tradition, but take a look at it. Make sure it's easy for your members to invite members and ask members to come in. Flexibility in membership type. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm clicking my thing over here. I'm not even clicking y'all's. Let me go back. Great. Okay, so flexibility and membership types. Once again, they have taken away a lot of the rules on membership types. The only two types that Rotary International is going to recognize is active members and honorary members. Now, the difference between the two, an active member basically pays international dues. Honorary members do not, but honorary members cannot vote in Rotary business. They can't hold an official office or board membership in any Rotary club as an honorary member. Active members can. Now, with that said, subcategories and definitions of active and honorary is totally up to the district and the club. You can have as many different types of active members as you'd like. You can have part-time active members. You can have non-lunch eating active members. You can have non-meal eating active members. You can have active members that only come to your satellite club. It's up to each Rotary club to define that. Now, you must change your bylaws to reflect those active members and those definitions and those types. But you have the flexibility now to create as many membership types, as many dues types that you would like for your club. DACDB also gives you the flexibility to bill in those different ways also, if you guys want to look into that. So again, Rotary International is making it, basically pushing it down to the club levels and giving us the flexibility to make it easy and as easy as it can be to invite new members and for our members to attend meetings in our clubs. All right. Frequency and format and attendance. As Pam said, Rotary stripped a lot of that away. The frequency of your club, that you have to meet in one of 3 different formats. There's a face-to-face meetings, there's social meetings, project meetings, and then there's online and internet meetings, as we're doing right now is considered a meeting. You can do any of those 3 and call them a meeting and count it as attendance and count it as membership for your club. So let's make that easy also in your club. Look at your club rules, your club attendance rules. A lot of clubs require members to show up at so many meetings at their home meetings. Again, that's up to you. You can make every time 3 members get together for a lunch can be included as a member for a meeting for attendance. Any type of event or project your club does can be included as attendance in a meeting. So make sure that you make that easy for your members, that it's easy for them to keep their attendance up. Although Rotary's not as big of a stickler on the attendance anymore, they're moving towards a healthy club environment more than attendance. A lot of districts are taking on right now, they're looking at the health of the club. How many members are showing up at projects? How many members are showing up at socials? How many members are participating in club events? More than they're looking at how many meetings are you attending. So again, with the 15-year different things that we're testing during those 15 years, they find that Rotary clubs that lighten up on the attendance and focus more on the participation seem to be a healthier, stronger clubs. So something you want to look at your club also. All right, this is just a sample, guys. This is directly from Rotary International. It's a little section that they included to say how do you want to make your attendance flexible. Small change in your club bylaw. Basically, it says our club asks each member to maximize membership by attending meetings and events and getting involved in service and activities. We do not have a formal attendance policy. Rather than sending attendance report, our club secretary updates our government on the status of the club's health, participating notes, evidence of membership engagement. And you can read on. So it's basically, we're saying we have a good member showing when we do projects. We have a good member showing when we do events. We have a good member showing when we have socials. Our meetings might not have everybody there each time, but our club is strong and healthy. So, and they find that this format builds a stronger club. Not being a stickler on attendance, but being a stickler on who's showing up and who's coming and who's participating. All right, so making our club member friendly. Now we have the background and we know what we can do and why we can do it. So some of the things to look at is affordable dues. In the last year or two, our district has 2 after-hour clubs. I started one, and I believe Mike Hayes' wife Natalie is in one there in the Lake Charles area. After-hour clubs meet after hours, 5:30 to 6:30. Our club meets. We actually meet in a bar 3 times a month, and we meet in a coffee shop 1 night a month. As far as our attendance, we take attendance, but we don't push it. You pay your dues, and you're welcome to be in our club. We are a big pusher for this after hours club is a big pusher of active activity in the community. We do a lot of things in our community. We try to do, and we're a small club. But what we find is our members, the reason they're joining Rotary is to give back to the community. So sitting down at a meeting 4 times a month is not important to them. Going out and doing some, helping at the food bank, raising money for the homeless, working the local festivals, supporting the local museums and different things in our community, those things are important. So that's what we count. The other thing that's real important in making your club member friendly is being inclusive. We have no limitations on our membership. We still follow the rules that you have to be invited by one of our members. We don't have classification rules. Doesn't matter whether you're a housewife, you're a doctor, lawyer, insurance, or a janitor. We don't care, as long as you want to come and help and participate in our club, pay your Rotary dues, and make changes in the community and the world. We welcome. Making sure your members have a say in the projects in your club. That's the other thing. Is making sure that what your club is doing is something your members want to do. A lot of our clubs in the district get caught up in tradition, which is great, man. Tradition's really important, and it has a lot to be said for traditions. But projects should never become a tradition in your club. Projects should be pushed by your membership. Some clubs get caught up doing this project because we did it last year, we did it next year, and it gets really easy to run a club based on what somebody did in the years before, because I don't have to change much. If you want to make it member friendly and you want your members to come in and enjoy Rotary, they have to have a say so in what they're doing and what projects you're having. So if you're not doing that, you're cutting your members short. So please consider that. Your meeting times, formats, and locations should be convenient and easily accessible. Again, traditions are very important, but if the dynamics around your meeting area have changed, the economics have changed, businesses have changed around you, consider moving your meetings. Consider using technology at your meetings. Facebook Live is great. The easy way to do throw it up in your meeting. Somebody can show up on Facebook Live. The secretary can see who's there, who's attending, who's watching the meeting, and check them in. Things like that to make it easier for your members to be a part of your Rotary Club if they can't get there. But also making it accessible. The time that you're meeting, depending on, and again, look at your membership. If you have a lot of younger members coming into your club that maybe can't get away for an hour, hour and a half for a lunch meeting, consider changing up the format of meeting, the start time and the end time of the meeting. Things of that. Again, I'm gonna go back to, just because we've always did it that way can kill a club. Please look at it every year. Seriously, look at your club bylaws. Include the technology, especially social media, in your meetings. Evaluate club dues and how they are spent. Are they being used in the best benefit of the club? Meeting times can vary and be changed. Know that they don't have to be the same time every week. You're allowed to move this around any way you want. That's easy for your club and makes it better for your club. You can meet in different locations. It's something that you can do that livens up a meeting just by changing the location, just even if it's once a month. The other thing I want to push that a lot of clubs, as an assistant district governor, that I ran into that they weren't doing is orientation of new members to your club in Rotary. This is a way to bring your new members in, tell them about your club, tell them about the different aspects of your club. It's also a way to make a great social and surround your new members with your officers, your board members, their spouses, and bringing them in and giving it. I like to think of it as giving them like a real big hug and welcome to the club. So bring them in, tell them about the club, and bring their family. Let them mingle with the board members and your officers. Makes them feel very welcome into the club.
Beginning, we got members.
The other thing, inclusiveness at all levels of the club. Just putting a greeter there when members come in or new members come in and welcome to the club each time they come in makes a big difference. Makes people feel welcome, makes them feel brought in, and at all levels. It would be great if your officers or your board members were meeting all your new members, were welcoming your new members, talking to your new members. They should be meeting them through your orientation, should be able to socialize with them during the club meetings. It breaks down the status walls in the club and makes people feel more welcome. And then the other thing is be creative with your member types. I touched on this a little bit, but you can come up with different ways to bring in a member. We had members in some clubs that don't necessarily pay for the meals, but still attend the clubs. Their due structure is a little bit different, which is okay. So you're allowed to do that in all different types of ways. So look at that also. Again, and then I would like to close out with saying, make your meetings fun. Add music into the meetings. We meet in a bar room. It's a social event after hours. We have it's an open bar. So some people, we have strangers actually coming and sit in on our meetings sometimes. It's a way to attract new members. Make sure that your presentations are fun. It's something interesting to the members. We always want to know what's going on in our communities, how we can help, but it's also nice just to have something fun. A guitar player showing you music, or a local artist coming in and just doing a presentation. Just fun stuff that the members will enjoy. Make sure your members are, you're getting that feedback and information from them. And also your socials. Rotary, we as Rotary clubs, we want to make changes in the community. We want to make changes in the world, but we also want to be social. We want our clubs to get together. We want them to have fun. If we can make the projects fun, it's even better. But there's nothing wrong with having a crawfish ball or a barbecue for no reason at all except to get your families and your members together. So keep that in mind also.
All right. Great presentation, Tim. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
I'd like to go next to Mark Lee, past Assistant District Governor, past Membership Chair for District 6200. He's going to talk to us about retaining members. Mark?
Yes, in a rebuttal to Tim, I'd like to say everything he said, just forget about it. What we're going to talk about is member retention. Tim gets us all the members, he brings them in, but we won't keep them if we don't keep them engaged, if we don't get them involved early on. And we know this because the numbers for Rotary suggest that a large percentage of Rotary members, new Rotary members, get out within the first couple of years. So with that in mind, what we need to do is make sure that we get engaged early. So we've got a new member. He's gone through the orientation, as Tim mentioned. And now what? Well, we want to make sure that they stay, and we have the challenge of making an effort to make sure that they stay. To prove this point, I want to read a quote to you. And the quote goes like this: I have to admit, during my first year as a Rotarian, I almost missed the magic of Rotary. I didn't always care for the food and programs at the weekly club meetings, and I thought I had better ways to spend my time. But then my club president asked me to chair the Rotary Foundation committee. Rotary started changing for me after that. I found that the more engaged I became in Rotary and the work of the Rotary Foundation, the more I saw the magic of Rotary and how it changed lives. That, my friends, was the Rotary International past president from 2013-14, Ron Burton. So if you think about it, to coin a phrase by Rotary, we were this close to losing a future RI president because we didn't get him engaged and involved early on. And that's the problem we have, and that's the challenge. So why did he stay in Rotary? His president appointed him to a position and got him engaged and involved. But up to that point, he wasn't, and he could have left. So what are some of the things that we can do? Well, we want to get that member involved right away, like I mentioned, and to put them on a committee is one of those ways. We might even want to make them a committee of their own. Get them to volunteer for a project. Invite them to a board meeting as a guest. Let them see how things operate. Encourage them or bring them to attend a district event, such as RILA, the visioning, club visioning, or possibly a seminar, a mid-year assembly. Educate and communicate. Ask them where their passion is. Sign them up for Rotary Leadership Institute, RLI, will help give them a background of what they need to know about Rotary on the district level and otherwise. Introduce them to veteran Rotary mentors. Give them a Rotarian that's seasoned, that can walk them through and help them answer their questions. Find a way to get them excited about Rotary. Everybody has their little niche. Tim likes youth projects, and he's a guy that'll go out with RILA and talk with these people and get the youth involved. That's his passion. Find out what their passion is and get them excited about it. And then listen to the ideas of new members. They have fresh new ideas, and as Tim mentioned, tradition is great, but sometimes you never know when a person's going to walk in and have a great idea that no one has thought about before that time. So listen, not only just, give lip service, but listen to what they have to say. And then we want to provide value for the new members. Mike Hayes is good about this. He wants to make sure that what they're getting something for their money and for their time and their effort. So we want to make sure that we make this interesting and not boring. As Tim mentioned, we don't want to have a boring program. He mentioned having a person come in for music. We had a person come in who had written a song that was a #1 bestseller. And he came and performed the song and talked about how he wrote it. That's interesting. That's something that people will come for. You want to have good food at a nice venue. That's always not as easy as it's said, but sometimes having different food and a different venue might be a good change of pace for you. Provide an atmosphere of friendship. Again, we want to be welcoming. We want to make sure that people understand that we appreciate them being a member and we appreciate them having fellowship with us. Next of all, don't wait until a new member loses interest and quits attending. You want to do an interview while they're still a member, because if you wait till afterwards, you're going to be finding out why they left. What we want to find out is why they stayed. And why they stayed, you could ask questions like, why do you stay in Rotary? What's your reason? How is your Rotary experience different from what you expected? What keeps you motivated? What would your Rotary experience be like to make it more enriching? If you could make it more enriching, what would it be like? What do you like most and what do you like least? All these questions could be answered, and when they are, those answers to those questions can make us retain our members, old and new, and ultimately make our club better and stronger. And I think that in the key to keeping our members. If we can do some of these things, not even all of them, but even some of them, I think that would go a long way to making our club stronger and making sure that our numbers stay strong. And instead of people just, revolving door, we want to avoid the revolving door. And I want to thank y'all for your time, and I hope y'all got a little out of this. And Mike Hayes, back at you, buddy.
All right. Thank you, Mark, for such an interesting and brief presentation. Next up, we have Nandy Schinken, who is the immediate past president of the Lafayette Rotary Club. Nandy did two things in her year as president. One of those was to get married, but more importantly, she led her club to the founding of a satellite club. So, Nandy, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Mike. Mike was actually my inspiration behind satellite clubs, and I listened to his presentation on it at a board meeting that I was at, and it inspired me to do some research. And I knew when I was going to become president that was something I definitely wanted to look into doing, and we actually did it and succeeded. Couple of things to know, though, is that satellite clubs, they were developed as an alternative to the traditional Rotary Club. It gives an opportunity to have a small group of people come together, and its real purpose is to accommodate the many changes that have already been spoken about in Rotary with flexibility and stuff, but also for those professional environments and family structures and just personal commitments that people have nowadays that would not allow them to be a member of a traditional club. There was a study that was done, and the feedback from the survey said that that it was repeatedly shown that prospective Rotary members and current young Rotarians needed that flexibility in the club membership. And so with that initiative grew the need for satellite clubs. For those people that couldn't join the traditional clubs. It also helped alleviate financial issues and scheduling and other constraints that they might have. It's important to know, though, that a satellite club it's an extension of the sponsor Rotary Club. So all the members that join it are members of the same club. So why do we need them? Well, it's going to secure the Rotary future and humanitarian service organization that we have. It offers opportunity for members with flexibility, meeting times, less financial and time constraints. It encourages young people, young professionals, those that typically wouldn't be in a meeting, business people, transferees, spouses, women, young adults. You heard Tim even say that Rotaractors can even be members of our clubs, and that includes the satellite clubs. It introduces new leaders to our organizations that can get involved and work in our current projects and introduce us to some new projects to get involved with. It gives us an opportunity to get more involved locally and globally. If you're in a small town, you can, with small populations, and it's a perfect opportunity for you to be able to extend a little further and help grow that membership. If you're in a large metro area, it allows the club to have several different meeting times or location to accommodate the large area that you have. One example is here in Lafayette, we had several clubs. We had no clubs that were meeting in the evening time, so we saw a need for that. We decided to make it a downtown area that was centrally located for the North Lafayette, Midtown Lafayette, South Lafayette. It's by the college. So that was something that we saw as a need. Why else do you need them? Well, it shows that your club is dynamic. It's relevant and diverse, and it's ready to make some changes and be part of modern society. And another reason you need them is that they can be a stepping stone to charter a new club. So a satellite club, it's entirely its own governing, with its own elections, its own induction of members. They pretty much operate as their own club. They're responsible for their payments to the sponsor club. You still have to pay the dues. Those dues are established by those club members. For instance, in the Rotary Club of Lafayette After Hours Club, satellite club that was created, they pay $20 per month. They meet twice a month, and that really covers just all the Rotary dues, and they actually have opted to go ahead and become sustaining members. So that fee has been included in that for them. Every club can decide on their own structure. There's no preconditions on who can join. Tim had already talked about that. Just an adult person, goodwill in their hearts, and willing to follow the bylaws and the constitutions that were established. There's no conditions on locations and times and dress codes and meetings and such forth like that. As a traditional club, they create their own. For instance, like I said, Lafayette's After Hours Club, they meet twice a month. They meet downtown in a cool little hip bar. You get a lot of traffic. People want to know who you are, what you're doing, what you're all about. We've gotten several members that way. Once you do establish a satellite club, there's a chairman, a secretary, a treasurer. You have your own council that's elected, and they're the ones that are responsible for running the club. And the sponsor club just kind of gives them a little light guidance whenever they're needed. And typically they'll ask for that. We find that I was very engaged as the president and the one that was starting the club, and I do recommend that you do have somebody in that position to help guide them. But just keep in mind that it is a separate entity, and they have their own projects and officers and members, so it's not something that the sponsor club needs to micromanage. And once the satellite club membership reaches 20 to 25 people, it is capable to seek full membership from RI and be fully chartered if they so choose to do so. So a couple of club basics for starting new clubs, whether it's a satellite club or just a new club in general. Really need to investigate the merits of starting the club. Is there a need for it? Where is the need? Once you establish that, then you need to inform your district governor of your intent to start either the satellite club or a new club. Give them a little heads up. This is what your game plan is. And it's really important that you have the support of your club and board and the officers. That's very crucial to get the club up and running and for its survival. So everybody's on the same page. To establish a satellite club committee from the sponsor club, and that's just to help organize and help recruit to get those satellite club members in. Incorporate some verbiage in your satellite club's bylaws and also in your sponsor bylaws. Tim had talked about that. That's very crucial, and everybody should at least have some kind of verbiage in their bylaws, even if they don't have a satellite club or are intending on a satellite club. It's best to go ahead and do that now so you're all on the same page whenever it's time to get one started. So you have an initial meeting and you have some information packets. You can do a presentation with some form of a video. We decided to do it in the place that we thought was going to be the place that they chose, Jefferson Street Pub downtown. It was very well received, and we had a lot of great participation. I kind of went over just the basics of what is Rotary, our avenues of service, just informative information for them to know what kind of organization they're planning or looking into joining. I had membership forms that were there, and we just had a list of people that were interested to sign up, and we shot them a couple of emails and reminders for them to continue to come to the next meeting. And each one, we gave a little bit more information about what Rotary is and what a satellite club and what their expectations were going to be. So once the club got their members, they decided on their venue, their dates, their times, and what constituted a regular meeting. There was a decision on their marketing strategy and the demographics for that club. They really wanted to hit the younger demographic, and so that's what they're doing. If you happen to have a club that is already young and vivacious and you see that perhaps there's a need for older population, then you can do something more geared towards that. So once you have that established and you have at least 10 members, then you can start voting on, they can start voting on who is going to run their club. So they start voting on their board and their officers. The difference there is that there's not a president, it's a chair, and a chair-elect to follow. There's a secretary, and then you should have a treasurer, and you'll have committees that you want to establish. It's also important to note that once this takes place, there is a need for you to establish a memorandum of intent and understanding between you, the satellite club, and the sponsor club. For sponsor clubs, you have it in the bylaws already. Satellite clubs would be establishing and adopting their own bylaws and constitutions, but it does need to reflect that of the sponsor club. It does not have to follow the same traditions and such, but the gist of things do need to mimic your sponsor club. It's important for them to be able to thrive on their own, like I had mentioned earlier, not micromanaging. So once you get your board officers and such forth organized, establish a bank account in accordance to your bylaws so that they can function on their own terms. Formulate your due structure. I went over that already. That's important, and that's something that those members need to do for themselves, not the sponsor club. As long as all the RI and district dues are being paid, the rest is dependent upon what those club members want to do. Service projects, plan those service projects, keep them busy. And 8 or more is to be able to submit for an official satellite club application. And you have to have 20 to 25 members if you want to start a new club, and you will usually need a sponsor club. And to do all of this, at the end, once you get all your people together, you plan a special induction evening and get it going. Just a little history here, 820. That's how much you can grow your club overnight. The Rotary Satellite Club of Lafayette After Hours, we started in November of last year. We had 8 members as our inductee members. By the end of that Rotary year, at the end of June, there was 12 members. Today's current status at the end of August is going to be 15 members and counting. So as you can see, you can increase your membership drastically. And change is
Okay.
inevitable and growth is optional. So it's time for us to go ahead and make that change. And this is just a little statement from the chair of the After Hours. Satellite Club represents the future in Rotary in our area, and it's about younger demographic with a different perspective of service on a community level and ability to work together to achieve great things in the world and around us. So
that's
if you have questions,
great.
there you go.
That's a great statement. Great presentation.
Thank you.
We'll hold questions to the end. So thank you, Nandy. There's a lot of opportunity for all of our clubs with satellite clubs, and I thank you for bringing the first one to District 6200.
Well, thank you for the inspiration.
Okay. All right. So next up, we have Lydia Frugier, who is the past president of the Lake Charles Happy Hour Rotary Club. Probably the only under 30 past president that many of us know. So if you want to find out about younger members, here you go. So
I did
Lydia?
meet a fellow young past president whenever I went to PETS at Old Men River, not this past year, but the year before. So there are more of us out there, but they do seem to be not as common, but hopefully soon that will change. Okay, so I will be sharing on how to leverage your service projects, your fundraisers, and your social presence to attract new members. And I've incorporated a lot of pictures in here just to kind of help with the visual, because I feel like that'll be more important. The main thing that I want to get across is that visibility is credibility. So it's all about being seen and people knowing that you're in Rotary and that what you're doing is related to Rotary. So important questions. So where and how is your club being seen? So you need more than a press release these days to gain traction and attention. Not to say that it's not bad to have a post in the paper, but if you look at where a lot of people get their information today, good or bad, it comes from social media platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, or people are looking at Facebook and Instagram to catch up on what they might be missing out on. So you need to make sure that you're posting to those sites, and don't underestimate the value. So even if you're not necessarily someone who's very active, it doesn't mean that others aren't, or that there's not a place for it with your club. And then the other thing is, don't be camera shy. So I know, for instance, we're doing video conferencing today. I know a lot of times people want to shy away from the camera. They don't necessarily want to be in a picture, but if they're not at your club meeting and they're not seeing you there, then in order to see you somewhere, you're going to have to take a picture of it. Who is your club seen with? So use the partnerships with local businesses and other organizations to promote goodwill in the community. I know sometimes with Rotary, we might see, or you might or you might not. Sometimes people might see another organization as competing, right? Because we have the Rotary Foundation that does a lot of good things, but there are other organizations within our communities that we can support, and that we can share some of the great things that they're doing or volunteer. And then alongside of that, as volunteers, especially if you're in your Rotary shirt showing up for those events and opportunities, then it's just adding to the credibility of you and your club. And what is your club scene doing? So it's important to think outside of the regular meeting, and then remember, post it or it didn't happen. So if you don't have it on camera, then it might as well not have happened. Not really, because you're doing a good thing, but to be able to have that to share with others kind of in your timeline. And the goal of everything that we do is that people will see what you're doing with these different types of tools and ask what Rotary is and how they can be involved. So all of this is just to become more visible, to then attract more members. So the where and the how. So it's important to post about your weekly meetings, share who your guest speakers are going to be, post about your new member inductions. And then when you're posting and you have members in those photos, tag them, and then it's going to show up for the friends that they have as well. So just to show you some of the examples, right here, we invited Jameson with Yellowfin Vodka to come in. We had a lot of visitors that meeting. People were really excited about it. And we tagged Yellowfin, we tagged where we were going to start meeting the following week. And you can see that just organically, that post reached over 1,000 people. And it's key tagging people in those posts. As far as events go, I am a testament to the fact that you can find out about Rotary and join and become a member just through Facebook. So I didn't know about the Lake Charles Happy Hour until I saw an event pop up. And then I was interested because I was like, oh, this is happening at a time that I can go. But if it hadn't been on Facebook, not saying that I wouldn't have ever found out about it, but it wouldn't have been that time that early in the start of our club. This one, you can see we inducted members and then tagged there. And then this is when we inducted our new officers. So we posted that as well to our Facebook page. Okay, and the who. So if you volunteer with or to benefit other community organizations, post, tag, and share. And here we did an offsite, or I guess a different meeting than we usually would. We met at the site of one of our service projects, a little free pantry that's set up in partnership with Episcopal Day School in Lake Charles, and had our meeting there and took pictures in front of it. And this was the same week that we had some visitors, Alex and Julian, and I think Julian's on this call, and with Big Brothers Big Sisters as our guests. They ended up joining as Rotarians, and John O'Donnell was kind of doing a vocational speech there. Here, we volunteered with Southwest Louisiana Autism Services for their cleanup day, along with the Lions Club. So this picture that you see right here is actually some of the Lions Club members, but we're in some of these others. But it's important to kind of cross-share that for your visibility. And the what. So don't keep the great things that Rotary does a secret. So all of our clubs have really good service projects. We have people who have really great hearts for the community, and to see things get better, and to institute projects that would help those not just in our communities but around the world. And if we don't share about the great things that we're doing, then we're missing out on the potential to get more people plugged into that and then increase our pool of resources. So here you can see the Greater Lake Charles Rotary Club and joint other clubs came together, and they hosted the Rise Against Hunger Southwest Louisiana event. So we tagged lots of the members there, and they posted pictures from the night, and we had a great viewership, and we hope to be able to grow the impact. And then our club, the members who participated, we tried to rally everybody together to get a group shot before the night was over. So you can see too here, we had an event set up that members were able to check in, and that we also used to promote that night to make sure we had enough volunteers. Okay, so leveraging your fundraising. So whatever you do, have fun, right? So fun is in fundraising. So you want to make sure that that the things you're doing as a club are attractive to others. Not saying that's the main thing, but things that others would want to be able to be a part in. So our club, we hosted in March our second St. Patrick's Day pub crawl, which is a hit. It's very in line with our brand as the Happy Hour Rotary Club. It's a lot of fun, and it promotes the downtown venues in Lake Charles. It gives them a lot of business, and it's a great time because people, want to go out. They want to have fun on St. Patrick's Day. And we've gotten a lot of response from that because folks are now like, oh, you're the pub crawl Rotary Club. And we're like, yes, we are. But we've been able to go out there and really promote ourselves. We branded all of our shirts with the Happy Hour line. And then also we wore volunteer shirts as well to give ourselves some visibility. I would recommend boosting your posts to expand your reach beyond just the ones you would typically hit up for fundraising. I know a lot of times we end up going to the same businesses or to our same friends. And so this is a great way to increase your reach for fundraising beyond just the one-offs of your membership. We boosted this post right here and had like 22,000 views or people reached. And so that was great for us because we were trying to sell a lot of tickets, and we ended up selling out for the second year. And then here, this middle, we shared the Sulphur Sunrise Rotary came out. They put a group together and then posted on their Facebook, and so we shared. So it's great to kind of cross and do that. It's not necessarily like our Rotary clubs are competing with one another, right? I mean, some clubs are a better fit based on the location, based on the time that they meet. So promoting other Rotary clubs is great too, because you can still increase the membership of Rotary, even if it's not just for your club. Let me go to our next one. Okay, so leveraging service projects. My personal rule of thumb is if there are 3 or more Rotarians gathered together to volunteer, you should post it. And that way people know that, hey, these aren't just good people in the community, but we're also Rotarians, and we're out here because we care and we're doing a good deed. And I also believe that you should give credit and you should take credit when it's due. So make sure that if you're doing a project that's Rotary, that you put Rotary's name out there, and not necessarily for a pride, that you want all the attention, but just because that is going to increase the visibility and notoriety of your club. Here we created an album that encompasses all of the service projects that we've done kind of over the past couple years. We probably need to update that. And this is our partnership with EDS and Healthier Southwest Louisiana, the pantry that we did with them. This one is a pantry at St. Michael's that we did in partnership with the Junior League of Lake Charles. So we did collaborate with some other local organizations and sites to make some of our projects happen. And then we tagged them because then their visibility also is going to cross over to us. And again, that makes us more credible, more people know who we are, and off of these things we get messages. And so it's very important to make sure that you're available. And we prefer to put a lot of stuff out on our social media pages, primarily Facebook. And so it's important that we have multiple people available to respond through Messenger. You can set up, I just wanted to share this with you if you don't already, a little response assistant, just saying that you'll get back to them as soon as possible. And I think that's a nice touch. But when people go to your page, one of the things that they see is if you're responsive here. And so for them to know, okay, if I message them, it looks like their page is active. So maybe I can send them a question of when are they meeting, or what is Rotary, or if we set up a pantry, hey, how can I donate food? And then we're able to communicate that way. I'd encourage you that if you have folks liking your posts on your pages, that you can invite them to like your page. And then you also have the option, if you know they're friends with so-and-so, well, then get that person to possibly invite them to a meeting, right? If they're liking your page, then they're interested in what you've been posting and doing. And so it's probably in line with what they personally are interested in, their values. Go ahead too, if you haven't already, and get some of your members to rate your page. And I don't know if you've seen that in your own feeds, but that will notify some of your friends that you've given them a rating. And so they'll be like, oh, I didn't know so-and-so was in Rotary, because unless they've seen it or if they've talked about it with you in person, then they may not necessarily know. And you can also invite your friends here to like your page. And this is a great tool to try to increase the visibility so that people who are members or the members in your club, they're friends when you tag them. If they didn't know that they were in Rotary, well, now they do. And then they're going to see that, oh, these are the events that they have set up. Oh, they do this great service project in our community. And look, they do fundraising. That's really fun. I want to be a part of that. So I would just encourage you to kind of use these platforms that are available. Many of them are free unless you sponsor, to try to gain some additional membership. And that's all I got for you this evening.
All right. Thank you, Lydia. We appreciate you giving us all that wonderful information. And you are available for consultation, I'm sure.
Yes, people can message me or email me. That's fine.
Okay. I want to apologize to the assembled group. We have gone over our allotted time, but I do want to cover a few things. One, this was recorded, so Charles, would you like to let everyone know how they can access this recording?
Absolutely. What I'll do is I'll send a hyperlink to Pam. Pam will distribute it, or to Frank and to Pam, and they can distribute it. It'll be a simple click of a hyperlink, and you'll see it just as you've experienced it today.
And if people want to make up on the E-Coastal Rotary e-club?
Absolutely. RotaryCoastal.com. There's a button there that says make up a meeting. You just have to attend the meeting. There's a self-reporting form at the end of the meeting that you can click on, and that's pretty much it. Okay.
We did have a couple of questions that I wanted to cover. One of those questions was about whether inner wheel participants can join Rotary. And the answer to that is, if you're a member of Inner Wheel, you can join a Rotary club. The Inner Wheel Club can actually form a Rotary club, or the Inner Wheel Club can form a satellite Rotary club, or just it really depends upon what it is that the Inner Wheel member wants to do. The second question was a question for Nandy. When your club formed the satellite club, how was it taken by the lifelong members, by the longtime members? Were there concerns or issues? Because forming a satellite club is kind of forming a competition.
Yes, great question. It was important to me, and I think it's really on your delivery and what the purpose of the club is. And the purpose of our satellite club was not to form a club to charter later down the road. It was to be able to have an extension of our club that wasn't meeting needs that our community had. So there was a big fear in our club on it, rightfully so. And those were some obstacles that had to be overcome, and that started on the board level. I had to sell this to the board and the officers first. So that took some persuasion, and I think as long as they understand what the intent was. Now, if your intent is to be able to do a satellite club to form a new club, that's a different story. We started in November, and we have only had one member member out of the sponsor club that actually has transferred their membership into the after hours, satellite after hours. And that person actually was a liaison between the two and just felt that his time was better at the after hours club to help support them, because like I had said, it is very important that you do have somebody that knows what Rotary is and how Rotary functions, and what the service projects and things like that. So that was the one and only person out of a club of 160 that actually transferred over. Now, we do have a lot of members that attend both the noon sponsor club meeting and the after hours meeting. So we haven't seen a problem with that. I do think that some members still don't get it. And it's just about reinforcing it, continuously just reinforcing and including both into socials and projects, and letting them see that we're a team working together. We just happen to meet at a different time and different place.
Cool. Excellent answer. Yeah, we're looking at the possibility of forming satellite clubs in elementary schools and hospitals and other locations where people have a difficult time getting to Rotary Club meetings. So those are opportunities that we really need to take a look at. And the other question that we had was a question for Lydia, and that question is about these partnerships with other organizations. One of the questions that a lot of people have is, or concerns that people have, is if you bring other organizations in, then it's going to dilute your ability to raise money. They're going to be looking for money. So how do you address that potential conflict?
Well, I will tell you that we have a lot of our members are part of nonprofits. Sean O'Hare, our chartering president, is one, and his knowledge of what he's done with Volunteers of America actually made him a great resource for us in the service projects that we're doing. So I would really look at it more as you have different individuals with different expertise that you can collaborate on. Yes, there are times when we need to promote the foundation and the great projects available through Rotary and divert our fundraising dollars there. But at the same time, look at Rotary International, right? We're great at the polio fight, right? It would be silly for another organization to just start up something for polio when Rotary has already done something so great. And there are some organizations within our communities that are already rooted, and we can, out of goodwill, promote them. It doesn't mean that we're diluting the Rotary name, but we're saying, hey, we've recognized that these folks are doing something great in our community that we want to contribute to and be a part of.
Excellent. Good answer. Does anyone else have a question that they'd like to pose to the presenters since we're already over? I will remind you that we will be having our foundation session next Monday night at the same time, and it'll be led by Mike Collins and myself. And then on September 10th, we'll be doing another session on public relations. So hearing no other questions, this assembly is hereby adjourned. Wait. Greg Landry has Friday, November 16th, trivia contest sponsored by Lafayette Rotary Club North. There will be a small charge for this free advertisement. We'd love to see teams from other clubs participating. Email Greg Landry at outlook.com for details on sponsorship or registering your team.
Y'all come.
Hold on, let me get my event in.
All right. Thank you all for your attendance.
Thank you.
And for the presenters for doing such a great job. Thank you.
Good job, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.